Hey there, entrepreneurs. Are you ready to fast track your business success? Tune into the Ground Up Podcast, your ultimate business guide brought to you by Roy Mangrum and Terry Bargy. Whether you're just starting out or looking to skip those common business pitfalls, we've got you covered. Our mission is to help everyday entrepreneurs like you achieve stability and success faster than ever. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the Ground Up Podcast today, and let's build your business from the ground up. Available on all major streaming platforms. Don't miss it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful, fantastic, amazing, beautiful episode of the Nashville Fit Podcast. We are here live in the, I don't know why I'm so animated right now, the Game Day Men's Health Studio. My name is Savanna Hill. Y'all can call me Sav. The Jarrell Webb is not with us today. Sorry, Jordan.
It's okay. I was like, wait, I'm not Jarrell.
He was like ready to be like, and I was like, and Jarrell. But the Jarrell Webb is not here today. He couldn't make it today, but
Jordan Clark is here.
Jordan Clark is here, and he's yeah, it's fine, y'all. It really is, because Jordan's amazing. Jordan was on the podcast a little over a year ago. He's a trainer, a coach, also a viral gamer.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things about Jordan. So happy to have you here to help me out today. How have you been?
I've been great. I've just been living life.
Just been living life.
Fullest, yeah.
Good. Because most of us are out here living life as well.
Yes.
But you're living it to the fullest.
Yes.
Any exciting news coming?
Yeah, Call of Duty came out, so that's been fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is this, like Call of Duty 8000?
Black Ops 6, which is like the 12th installment or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something nuts.
What's your favorite?
I don't have one anymore.
No, there's so many. If you had to pick one video game, do you play video games, John?
I don't play video games.
Okay,
no, I
I
think technology peaked at Tecmo Bowl in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, I
with
agree.
original Nintendo. That's
Yeah. I still have one.
oh, really?
I do.
Nice.
I don't know how much it's worth, but I don't care because I'm not selling
Hang
it.
on to that sucker.
Well, yeah, it was mine. I had maybe 6 games, those like big brick games.
Spoiled.
Yeah, that stuff. Oh my God, I loved it. I did used to play video games. Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart, and then I had Star Wars Racer. That was a fun one for me. This is really cool.
Yes,
And then like Snowboard Kids, like some random
I'm just a
stuff.
big kid, so I try to.
No, but
yeah.
I gave it to my brother when I got older and wasn't playing it. And my brother was really into like DS and like Game Boy Color. And so that was like, I was kind of phasing out of stuff, but Game Boy Color was it for me, and Nintendo. Didn't get a GameCube. I got an Xbox and I kind of just didn't love it as much. Yeah, I kind of like sank. So when I gave it to my brother, he played the crap out of it. And my brother's not here anymore, so I still have it. And it's like mine again. And like, I'm going to keep it forever, obviously.
Yeah.
Because my brother played it. I played it. Like, how much are those worth? Do we know?
So I don't even play console stuff anymore. I build my PCs.
Okay.
I'm on a different
you're on
next
a
level,
way
yeah.
other
Yeah, yeah.
level. That's
Wow.
like, that sounds like coding to me.
It's awesome. It's like Legos.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
We know who the
I would
nerd
say
is in the
teach
group
me.
here.
I'll take that.
Just kidding.
For real.
No, don't get. I like that.
So you can't probably choose a favorite game then.
I mean, Halo was my go-to.
Okay.
I think we've talked
Yeah,
about
we have
this.
talked
I
about
went
it.
pro in that game when
Yeah.
I was in high school, and
So you literally went pro.
yeah,
like-
played competitively. I was sponsored by Warheads Candy, and I got to travel around the United States.
Warheads
and it
are
was-
actually
Dude,
like
cool.
It was
So
it was a fun time. It's not like that anymore. It's very different now. It's if you're not living on the game and you're not playing 24/7, you're not gonna go anywhere with it.
That's crazy.
It's like an athlete. You
Yeah.
gotta
It
commit
really
to like
is.
diet,
Yeah.
sleep, like everything's ready. They probably have schedules set up of like
No,
I'm gonna wake
like,
up at
no
this time. I'm
joke.
gonna play. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give myself a break. Is it like
Oh, it's like being an influencer.
wow?
It's an actual
Yeah.
job now.
It's
you
an
know,
actual job because after you get done gaming, then you have to clip out all the clips and then you have to put them all together
Yeah,
and you have
you
to
get-
somehow get that out there for people to watch because
Wow.
I mean it's
Isn't it wild how like no matter what you do for a living, like because you did that on Instagram, that's why you have like a big following,
Yeah.
and like you grew this following from gaming and being a pro gamer. But you just mentioned like, okay, now I have to figure out how to edit these videos and get this. You have to be like a video
you have to hire
editor.
someone or you have to figure it out yourself.
Exactly. That's what I experienced in fitness. You know, it's like I got into this to train people and learn about fitness and the body and movement and exercise and modalities and
Not be a video
of motion.
editor.
Yeah, and
You know,
now I
now
have
we're
to
all
learn
like video
about
editors
CapCut.
and you know content producers and
you have to
writers
adapt.
and we all direct
doing
our.
I was doing all that when I was 16 years old on
Well, you have
my
a leg up
laptop
then.
on a Windows 6 or whatever it was.
Got a leg up.
I said you have a leg up for the camera.
We'll get into this later. Just a little
Well,
teaser.
that's actually, you made it perfect. It was a perfect segue. We're going to get into John Mabry's story. John is with us today. He just kicked up his prosthetic leg in the air so everyone could see it. And it's beautiful, man. It really is.
For $25,000, you too can have one of these.
Wow. It actually is beautiful. It's a work of art.
Thank you. Yeah, they really are. Nobody
People
in
do
the nobody in the
design the
world.
shit out of these.
Yeah, nobody in the world could wear this.
Wow.
Yeah,
It is designed for your leg.
It's designed for my leg.
And has a cross on it. He's got it decked
Texas
out.
flag. Got some tattoos on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, tattoos.
That's
I
my
love
tattoos,
it.
yeah.
I love it. The only problem I have is the hokas, but we're gonna get into that later.
It's actually these are prescribed by my doctor for
Okay.
my arthritis in my ankle. So
Okay, all
I
right,
don't want to
well,
wear them, but
There's
I'm forced to.
a reason for you, and that is enough. I'm not gonna teach you. I'm an affiliate with Vivo Barefoot, and I'm always like, ditch your hokas for Vivo Barefoot, but you have a specific reason.
Yeah, I've
you
got
need
a
to wear
medical
them,
condition.
So.
I'm one of many.
I see. Yeah. Well, I mean that's important. They are nice looking.
Thank you.
Not as nice looking as the leg, though. I gotta say,
Thank you. Thank you.
it's beautiful.
I'm very blessed to have access to good insurance and good technology and a good team that helps build my legs. and-
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Prosthetics has come a long way.
It has.
In recent years.
Wait, I'm curious. How many do you have?
I just have one. Just have this
Okay.
one, so we can get into it. I literally just got back into this one. They had to cast me for a new one 3.5 months ago.
Okay.
I almost had my leg amputated above the knee 6 months ago.
Oh my goodness.
A second amputation. So
Wow.
I originally lost my leg 23 years ago in a car wreck in Texas. And then just 6 months ago, I was on crutches for 6 months in a wheelchair for 6 months
Whoa.
because of an ingrown hair.
Wow.
I just had a small ingrown hair in my leg, and it got worse and worse. Got staph infection. I had a wound vacuum on for 2 months. I had in-home nursing care.
Oh my
In
goodness.
April and May, I had in-home nursing care. I had to go to wound care appointments twice a week where they had to burn the tissue, literally take silver nitrate on a Q-tip and singe my tissue to regrow new tissue in the wound, and take a scalpel and start cutting out nasty tissue. I had to go twice a week for that, on top of injecting antibiotics every 8 hours into my arm at home on my
That's
own,
wild.
Man.
all from an ingrown hair.
An
Yeah.
ingrown hair, y'all.
Yeah.
You hear
I had
that?
a few of those, but not
I
like
really,
that.
I
Jeez.
can't wait to dig into the ins and outs of that. Whether it's gross or not, I don't care. But that is so fascinating to me. I want to know why it happened with an ingrown hair, and why it happened to you, and why that hasn't happened with every ingrown hair for every person. I want to get into it. But first,
So, and I just have the one leg to answer your question. My running leg doesn't fit anymore because my
Okay.
limb changed shape, and insurance won't pay for a running leg because it's not a medical necessity. So,
why is that not a medical necessity?
yeah, welcome to,
Running is a literal human design.
yeah.
What?
So,
There are so many problems. Okay. All right.
Anyway.
Let me just take a breath. Okay.
Clearly, they don't believe in
That
zombies.
doesn't make any sense
have
to
to
me
run,
that
you
they
know?
wouldn't cover that.
yep.
Oh my God. Anyways, okay. I really can't wait to get into this. So let's do the basket of debate. It'll be fun. I need to have a good attitude about it because I just want to talk about John, but the basket of debate's fun. You're familiar with the basket of debate. We pass it around and we take something out of it, and it has a random question that we all get in a
Choose
fist fight
wisely.
about. No, we don't fist fight, but we can duel. Were we talking about that on air or off air?
That was on air.
Was it on air? The duel?
The Hamilton story.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. If you challenge somebody to a duel before we get into this, how would you want to do it? Would you want to do cowboy style or samurai style?
I think swords
Or
would
like
be
Mortal
kinda
Kombat.
cool. Like back in the medieval,
Yeah,
swords,
like-
shields.
What would
they
your
do
weapon of
stuff like
choice
that
be?
here in Nashville somewhere?
I've been.
Oh, have you?
What was it called? It was
I met a guy that runs it or
it
something.
was literally they were in knight
Yeah.
armor. And it was so dope.
like, do people
It
get
was
hurt? He's
so
like, oh,
awesome.
yeah.
And actually, that whole organization of people is really cool. Because I added a bunch of them on Instagram because I was fans after that. I was like, this is insane. And a lot of them are females. And I added them on Instagram. And I reached out thinking, I don't know, how famous they are, how this works, but I'm curious. And I asked, how did you get into this? As a female, and one of them was a firefighter. We just had a firefighter, or a woman who was a firefighter on the podcast. But she was a firefighter for a living and did that by day or whatever. That was her day trade. And then she did this at night. And like it's like a concert. And it's basically combining like MMA, wrestling, like, because it's like kind of a show and there's like rivalries and things like that with medieval fighting.
I have a buddy,
amazing.
Gavin. He looks like Jason Momoa.
Okay.
He's a trainer down at my gym at Title Boxing in Franklin. And he was like the announcer for that. He's like, yeah, because he's like, he has Viking blood in him. And so he's like this big, hairy Viking guy.
Well,
so he's an announcer. He's an announcer for that stuff. He said,
so sick.
and he said it's so hard for them to move like they move with all the gear on.
Yes.
He said it's next level. Yeah. It's not only you're doing MMA and wrestling. Yes.
Like they're not not stabbing, but these are real weapons. They have they had the mace with like the ball and chain and everything. They have clubs and they have swords. And they are actually striking each other.
I'd actually do it, but it sounds awesome.
It is so cool. I'll show you videos after this because I have a ton of them. All right, basket debate, the real debate. Who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Okay. All right.
Which is better, a muffin or a bagel?
Ooh, depends.
That's what I was going to say. Depends on the cream cheese you use.
Yeah.
I mean, some muffins are really good. I'm going to probably go with muffins.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
Same here, muffins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I had to choose,
actually
if I'm
think
going to put
I'm
the
gonna say
carbs
bagel.
in, I'll go muffin.
Be the one that's...
There's just so many different kinds of both, like I love man, give me a good soft warm blueberry muffin or chocolate chip, or there's so many good ones, but like bagels, they never miss. Like it can be even dry and I'm like still like, yeah, I love this bagel, whereas a muffin gets dry.
See, it doesn't say bagel with cream cheese, it just says bagel.
True.
So
that is true. Then I guess I'd have to go with muffin. If we're really going literal, like I can't put anything on the bagel or the muffin, then I'll eat the muffin. I'd rather have that. I'm glad you pointed that out. All right. Since John said not it and none of us played, I'll go next.
All right.
You earned that. Are you in or out on pumpkin spice everything? In. I don't care. I love pumpkin spice. Call me basic.
seasonal, I'm in.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're all basic white girls. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, put it in. All right, last one.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most annoyed, how annoyed are you when the weights aren't back where they belong? I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest. It doesn't bother me that much. I just kind of take care of my own stuff, I guess. I guess if it was my gym, I would be more annoyed if it was my place. But it's kind of like, I came in there to take care of my business, and if somebody else didn't put the weights back. I mean, every now and then I will put weights back, or I will move something back just to be of service to the gym. And I'm not I don't leave it worse than I found it. If anything, I either leave it as is or I'll contribute a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't take it too personally.
I guess it depends on how much weight's on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on where is it and what is it?
Yeah. Leg press, okay, yeah, there's like 8 45s on each side, so
yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's annoying.
Somebody left that there just to
just to
so
show
someone
off.
Could see it.
Somebody's ego. Yeah, somebody's ego
I need
left
everyone
that
to
there.
see me leave this machine right now. Look what I did. I think it used to annoy me more. And if I'm if the right answer here would be 10. I'm so annoyed with it because you should always re-rack your weights. Like, don't be that guy. People notice, and then you will be known to those people as the guy that does not re-rack their weights, or the girl. Me personally, I'm the same way. I just go in to do my thing. I get somewhat annoyed if it's like, okay, how hard is it to take these fucking 45s? Sorry, excuse my language. To take these 45s off of the bar and put them right there next to it where they belong so that I can build my way up to whatever.
Sometimes it works out for you. It might be the weight that you need to use.
Usually it isn't.
Yeah, okay.
Usually it isn't. It's usually something way heavier. And, or my pet peeve is like the little things laying around, like a band in the middle of the floor. Like, why can't you just hang that back up? Like, why did you take it out, warm up with it, and not put it back? Like, or an ab wheel that's randomly.
Chalk on their hands and it's just
hate
everywhere.
chalk. If I owned a gym, no one would liquid chalk or die. Like I can't stand chalk. It's so messy. Some people love that, and I hate it. It's I don't know why. It literally is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Mm-hmm. But like chalk itself is like, I hate having it on me. I hate I'll use it if I absolutely have to, but I hate having it on me. anyways, I'm getting passionate about this. I need to move on. All right, let's get back to John.
All right.
Because that's the exciting part anyways. So we were talking about the fact that let's rewind back to 23 years ago.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a quick arc of journey, and then we'll go into some details. Lost my leg in a car accident that was 24 years ago. Ended up doing acting and stunt work in LA, getting blown up on major Hollywood sets. Was in the movie Superbad. Been to parties at the Playboy Mansion with Adam Sandler and Bruce Willis.
That is so dope.
And I have lived in I ended up going through 5 rehab centers in 7 years and ended up living in a trailer on the banks of a river here in Tennessee with a roommate named Beaver.
Wow. It's like your life is a movie.
And then I just came back from, again, six months ago, almost had my leg amputated above the knee, and just did a triathlon 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
I was just in San Diego yesterday.
I'm glad you gave us this arc.
Yeah.
Because I have so many questions.
Yeah, I just did a triathlon 2 days ago in San Diego. So what's your excuse?
Wow.
We're going to get into that.
That's
but
incredible.
The crux of my message to leave with the audience here or tease the audience with is connection, that the root cause for my mental health and addiction issues over the years that have taken me from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows is all can kind of come back to disconnection in my life. Mm-hmm. And so when I get reconnected, when I'm connected in healthy environments with healthy people and healthy support groups, whether you know it or not, we're all part of support groups. You know, It doesn't have to be a 12-step support group for you to benefit, but we're all part of support groups, whether it supports your drinking, it supports your gossiping, it supports your working out, supports your nutrition.
addiction.
Great point.
So we're all part of support groups. And I always looked bad. I was like, I don't want to go to support group. I don't need help. It's like, no, I need help all the time.
Everybody does.
Every single day. I wake up every day with a hole in my soul and I'm going to fill it with something. I'm going to fill it with something positive or I'm going to fill it with something negative. And thankfully today I've been able to make some choices over the last few years.
Everything you just dropped is like gold. Like you could literally, that could be all that you said today. And you just dropped so much valuable information in that one paragraph. That connection piece, that I'm filling the space with something either good or something bad. Wow.
So that's why my handle is John Mabry Connects.
Wow.
I'll plug it at the end again, but John Mabry Connects on Instagram, Facebook, johnmabryconnects.com.
I will be connecting with that.
So do life coaching and public speaking. So
wow,
on mental health
that's
and addiction.
incredible. Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of a broad overview. I'll take you back to my car wreck.
Here's my money.
Exactly. I'll add it to your bill.
Send me an invoice.
So I was born and raised in Texas, had a kind of normal upbringing, great supportive family environment, lots of friends. And my senior year in high school, I was named at prom, was named class clown, most outgoing, most school spirited, and best personality.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I ruled the high school. Ruled the high school. But what I learned later in trauma therapy years later is that since a child, because of some ear surgeries, I had a eardrum transplant as a kid after multiple surgeries, and then 3 prosthetic bones in my left ear.
Oh, wow.
And I had to fly out of state for that surgery as a child. I was very insecure. I felt broken. I felt defective. Something's wrong with me. I'm just not right. I'm unfixable. And nobody gave me these messages. That's just how I internalized the trauma of going through childhood medical stuff. And once my trauma therapist brought out, look, you were class clown, most outgoing, most school spirited, best personality. You were just covering up for how insecure you felt. And I was like, oh,
wow,
that's what drove me my whole life. So those were $400 sessions with that trauma therapist. So if anybody out there, I encourage you to go back and track childhood stuff, because I told her about my later traumas in life. And she's like, I don't care about that stuff. What happened to you as a kid?
Oh, say it louder for the people in the back.
It doesn't matter what happened later in life. I found my brother dead from an overdose. I lost my leg in a car accident. I've seen my friend die, and all this stuff has happened. And she goes, I don't care about that stuff. I want to know what happened to you as a child, because that's what set the tone for how you reacted to these other things later in life. So for the audience out there, if you got something that maybe happened to you as a child that might have seemed traumatic in some way, shape, or form, I encourage you to kind of consider taking a look at that.
Know yourself. I mean, know where you, like, how that affected you later in life, because it absolutely did. Even if you didn't go through something like crazy traumatic, how you grew up, right down to the way that your mother held you or didn't hold you, affects you as an adult.
Yeah, a lot of people are codependent in their relationships because they had to manage their mother and father's relationship. And so now as an adult, they try to, let me manage everybody around me. I want to make everybody happy. Let me, I'll put my needs aside to make everybody else feel happy. And then they don't take care of themselves.
Yeah. And you don't realize you're doing it, especially when you're a kid and you grow up that way. It
just
becomes
seems normal.
Yeah. And then you don't realize until you go to therapy and dig into that. And it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to revisit stuff that's painful. But if you don't face it and revisit it and learn about it, like you're kind of like getting in your own way.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's crazy cool. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Thank you. So, high school went great. To go to college. So I was born and raised in San Antonio. Moved up to 3 hours away to Waco, Texas, to attend Baylor University. Communications major. Wanted to go into sports broadcasting initially. Had a great experience in college. Did the fraternity party thing. Life was manageable. Grades were okay. By senior year, I was sitting pretty good. I was social chair of my fraternity. I was dating a cheerleader who was our fraternity sweetheart, and I had a full ride scholarship doing video work for the athletic team. And so I would film football practices, football games, travel with the team. I got the same scholarship the football players got.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, books,
Win-win.
fees. I had a $550 a month stipend. This is in 98, 99. I got to go to the athlete counselors and get all the classes I wanted. They would put us in all the easy classes because we had the athlete counselors, and they knew which classes had the
And
easiest
you didn't even
teachers.
have to play?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have to play.
That would have been like the dream. for
So
me.
senior year was completely paid for. Everything was going great. I had set up this cruise out of New Orleans. We had just gone on this cruise, 35 friends of mine, and we're driving back in a friend's car from New Orleans back to Waco, Texas, and unthinkable happens. No drinking or driving. A tire blows out in a friend's SUV. And we hit the median. The car just starts shaking violently, and I was like, "No!" I mean, you just see like your life starts to flash before your eyes, and you're like, "This is not about to happen. It's not about to happen." And the car veered toward the median, the grass median. As soon as we hit it, we did like a 180, and we just started rolling.
Oh my God.
We missed oncoming traffic on the other side of the interstate into a field. I think it was in Madison, small little town in Madisonville, Texas,
My heart dropped.
outside of Houston. Witness reports say we rolled between 6 and 12 times.
Oh my God.
My legs got out the window somehow. I saw it happening. I was conscious and saw my legs try to pull them in, but the forces are just too great. The car comes to a stop, a crashing stop upside down. Smoke, there's glass everywhere, smoke. I'm thinking, oh crap, the car's going to blow up. Cars, in the movies, when a car rolls 10 times, it blows up. So I'm thinking, I got to get out. And I positioned myself, took my seatbelt off. 3 friends are in the car. Position myself on the edge of the window as the car's upside down. I throw myself out of the car because I looked down and my foot was wrapped around. I could see the bottom of my foot as I tried to stand on my shin. I was standing on my shin, and my foot was just kind of dangling, my right foot. And so I ended up just throwing myself out of the car. I crawled out, and I looked back, and all 3 of my friends were still in the car. And I said, man, if this thing blows up and I'm not helping, like I wouldn't be able to take it. So I was like, I'm going in. If it blows up, we're all going together. And so I crawled in, got one friend out. One friend was pinned in the front seat, and her boyfriend was tending to her. So 2 of us got out, and it's just like this scene in a freaking movie. You talk about my life being a movie. It was jaws of life come in. You got the road flares laid out on the interstate. They shut the interstate down. You got the police officers, the smoke coming out of the road flares. You have this jaws of life coming in to cut my friend out of the front seat of the car. They're, just the crashing of the metal just pulling apart. And then here comes a helicopter flying in to land in the field that we were in. Helicopter lands. They pulled Ashley out of the car, got her to a helicopter, and she passed before they got her to hospital.
God, I'm so sorry.
From head trauma. Yeah, her name's Ashley Furman. I always like to keep her name alive, her memory alive. And her family, Dawn, and her mom, Dawn, and her brother, Taryn, are always close to my heart.
Oh, may she rest in peace.
They're good friends. So this was in March of 2000. She was 19. And ultimately what happened was I ended up going through about 14 procedures that year to try to save my foot, kind of piece the ankle and foot back together. I was going back and forth between school and home. I had to move in with my parents' house, lost all my social life. All that stuff went away. All those things I told you that I had built up that I was doing well. My job went away. I couldn't work. They pulled my scholarship from me because they had to give it to somebody else. I mean, I went from the highest of high down to like now I'm, my mom's cleaning out my bedpan in my dad's home office at their house. And so ended up trying the best I could to, again, piece things back together. I had a hole in the side of my foot. They had to take one of my abdominal muscles out and attach it into the hole in my foot. I had screws and pins and needles, and I had ended up having a brace up to my knee. I had a custom shoe because my ankle started to collapse, and so I was losing height. So they had to make me a shoe kind of like these Hokas back in the day, where I had a extra sole built up. Here I'm 22, 23 years old with a brace up to my knee, a custom shoe, and a cane. And it's like, man, this isn't a way to live.
Cannot imagine how that complete 360 and being there affected you mentally.
Yeah. you know, and I didn't deal with any of the trauma. It was all I wanted to do. And somebody said something to me early on, a fraternity brother, I'm not going to say his name in case he ever listens. He said, you know, hey, good thing this happened to John, because if it happened to anybody, he can handle it. And I learned in therapy the years later how detrimental that was, because I never thought I could break down.
Yeah.
I thought there was this expectation that, I'm supposed to be able to handle this. And nobody really said you can't break down. It was just like, good thing this happened to you because you can handle it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you want to take that as a compliment, but then it's pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And what I've learned now is handling it means freaking crying. Handling it means letting go, you know, asking for help. Handling it is not going through it alone.
Yeah.
And I tried to just accomplish things. And so I ended up deciding to have my leg amputated a year and 2 weeks after the accident. So in March 2001,
You got to decide that?
I did. Yeah. They wanted
was
to do
the
bone
alternative?
graft. It was, so now the next steps were, because the ankle just kept decomposing basically from the inside, from the bone, not getting the proper blood flow. They said, we're going to do bone graft. We're going to take bone out of your hip, and we're going to fuse your ankle, and you're going to limp the rest of your life. And you're always going to have pain. And I was already hooked on the painkillers. And this is going to be the worst surgery you've been through. It's going to be at least a year recovery. And then you're going to limp the rest of your life. And I was like, I don't know if I want this. So I talked to a few amputees prior to deciding. I said, is there somebody I can talk to? And so I got to talk to a couple guys that had been through it before. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to be all right. I think I'm going to be all right if I let this thing go. So I'm glad I made the decision to let it go. Problem is I change one set of problems for another. And I thought naively going into it, I'm going to cut the problem off and the problem's going to go away. The pain's going to go away. Well, when you amputate your leg, you get a whole new set of problems. You get prosthetic issues, you get ingrown hair issues, like we talked about.
Compensation, other stuff. Yeah.
So you get other pain, and it's constant battle to try to stay comfortable in a prosthetic, and there's insurance and money issues with that. And you're traveling with the prosthetic and you get issues, and next thing you know, you got to buy crutches at the local Walgreens so you can get home. And so anyway, I just naively went into it going, I'm gonna cut the problem off, everything's gonna be fine. And so I went to try to show everybody I was fine. So I had my leg amputated. I got my diploma. I walked the stage, got my diploma 6 weeks later on a temporary prosthetic.
Wow.
And I ended up moving.
Bet you'll never forget that.
No, I got that. With my diploma on my wall in my bedroom right now is a picture of my diploma from Baylor and a picture of the president. I have my cane and I'm shaking the president's hand with this big smile on my face, like I walked the stage to get my diploma with one leg, right, you know, 6 weeks after my amputation.
Yeah, I was gonna say this.
It was cool.
How soon after was that?
So I ended up moving to San Diego to get my master's in counseling. So moved from Texas, from everything I knew in Texas, and I moved out to San Diego.
What transitioned you to get into counseling?
So because people had helped me that year through my surgeries and whatnot, I was like, man, I want to go help other people. Cool. You know, I don't want to go work the 9-to-5 grind and just go into sales. I was going to go into sales, and I was like, you know, there's a bigger purpose here now. It's not just to make money and to go accomplish things, but let me go. How can I help other people? And so one of the top programs of this kind in the country was in San Diego. Went out to San Diego. And as I'm working on my master's in counseling out there, I stumbled into the Challenged Athletes Foundation. Okay. So that's the triathlon I just got back from last night.
Cool.
They're based in San Diego, raise money to get people with physical disabilities access to sports. And so I have gotten a grant from them for 22 years in a row that I get to put towards sports, whether it's a bike, a running leg, my gym membership fees. They paid for my gym membership fees at Title Boxing for 6 years in a row. So they pay for training for people to get to the Paralympics, and hand cycles and wheelchairs and things like that. So they just had their big annual fundraiser in San Diego this weekend. I participated. I did a mile swim with one leg. Don't swim with my leg on. Did a mile swim. I did an hour on the spin bike, so 12 to 15 miles up on stage, and then ended up walking a 5K that day. So
Wow, respect.
That's
first
incredible.
triathlon in about 15 years.
How
many have you done?
It's like 5 or 6.
Wow.
I hadn't done one since Malibu in 2008.
Wow.
So this is my first one, and it's 3 months after getting back on my leg.
I was gonna say,
just 3 months after getting back on my leg after my ingrown hair.
You literally just went through this crazy process almost again, but in a totally different, scary way. And then I was thinking that's why I asked how many you've done, because most people haven't ever done a triathlon in their lifetime. I haven't done one.
I haven't either. I swam a mile and that's it.
I haven't even done a marathon. And I'm not saying like you have to do that in order to like, you know, be something in the world, but like just thinking about the fact that you've done 5 or 6 triathlons, and the most recent one is after this crazy process of an ingrown hair almost taking more of your leg away. Like, and even though you didn't lose another part of your leg, like there's still a lot that went down that could be painful, that could be mentally like jarring.
You have no idea
I do not have any idea
how hard it was to not go back into depression again through it.
Yeah. Wow.
I buried my mom second week of March.
I'm sorry.
In March 30th, I was on the operating table about to lose my leg.
Oh my God.
2 weeks later.
That is so, I
literally picked my mom's urn up in March with my crutches on because I could only stand on one leg. I couldn't wear my prosthetic. I literally put my mom in the ground, my best friend, and my biggest supporter my entire life. And I had to put her in the ground. And 2 weeks later, I was on the operating table about to lose my leg. And the fact that I didn't relapse on my drug and alcohol abuse and the fact that I didn't go into deep depression is 100% a sign of the connection, going back to connection, that I have built, the support groups and the people God has put in my life to help me be able to handle things like this in a better way now.
Yeah.
And so I have done it alone by any means.
You've lost a lot, but
it brought up all the PTSD for me again because I'm back on the operating. I may lose my leg again. Above the knee is a whole different deal. You got to replace the knee joint and the ankle joint.
Yeah,
prosthetics are more expensive. You have a pronounced limp with an above the knee amputation. So anyway, all my PTSD came back up. But because I was grounded in my recovery programs, in my 12-step support groups, I go to Celebrate Recovery. I got to plug. Celebrate Recovery is a Christ-centered 12-step group. They're all over the country. There are churches across the country. It's free, and it's for anybody with any hurt, habit, or hang up. So you don't have to have an addiction issue. It could be the hurts of divorce. You just went through a divorce and you need some support. It could be, man, I can't stop shopping.
What is this called?
Celebrate Recovery.
Celebrate Recovery.
It's Christ-centered 12-step. Same 12 steps as AA, as Alcoholics Anonymous. Same 12 steps. It just has a Christ as a center as opposed to some God of your understanding. AA is like, just pick a God of your understanding and let's start there.
Okay.
And that works for a lot of people. It worked for me to kind of get me in the door, but I kept relapsing. I kept drinking after rehab center after rehab center. And so when I finally went to Celebrate Recovery at my local church in Franklin at Harpeth Christian Church, it was a game changer. So back to San Diego, got my master's in counseling and got married to a girl I knew at Baylor. She moves out. And right as I was finishing my master's program, I stumbled into some acting and stunt work. Here's where it got fun.
Yeah.
All right. So here's where I used my leg to get my foot in the door in the industry. I was a body double for my cousin, who's an actor. And he was cast in the first TV show about the war in Iraq. So it was 2005. It was called Over There. It was on FX. Very graphic. It was the first show, movie, or TV show to come out about the war in Iraq. So it's controversial. Wow. Are people ready? Is this too early? The war's going on over there. We don't really want to know what's going on over there. So Stephen Bochco is huge producer of NYPD Blues and LA Law in the 80s and 90s. Doogie Howser, he produced that. And 10, 15 Emmy Awards. And so my cousin calls me up and says, hey, I'm going to be the lead. This is the biggest role I've gotten yet. I'm going to lose my right leg below the knee in this dramatic scene at the end of the first episode on a roadside bomb. Could you take me through what you went through in your car wreck to help me with my character? And I said, all right, yeah, sure. All right.
Can you revisit trauma to help me?
Yeah, relive, exactly. Wow. Relive your crap so I can benefit from it.
Jeez.
So I was like, all right. So, cousin, of course came to his rescue. And then I said, what are they going to do for your leg shots? And he said, maybe computer. I don't know. I said, well, let me know if you need any help. So about a week later, he calls me. He said, hey, they want to see you. And I was like, all right. So I drive up to LA. They're doing boot camp. They have Marine guys who had fought in Iraq coming over and teaching these actors, boot camp, getting them ready for the show. And I show up on set, and they have the makeup guys coming in, taking pictures of my stump, and they're like, all right. My cousin and I have similar look and build, and they're like, yeah, well, perfect. We'll make this work. You're hired, 13 episodes. You're our technical consultant. And I was like, all right, this is cool. So signed a little contract, and within the first 3 episodes, I got my SAG card. Been a member of Screen Actors Guild for 20 years now.
That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome.
People work for years to try to get their SAG card, and I just stumbled into it.
Well, you didn't stumble into it. You got in a car wreck and lost a leg, but
So we got People Magazine comes out, Access Hollywood, and USA Today. All this national press comes out to these 2 cousins working on the first show about the war, and then I got to plug the Change Athletes Foundation. Foundation in my media coverage. I'm part of the Challenge Athletes Foundation. The Botch Coach did a fundraiser for us. They had the president of SAG. Mark Hellenberger was the president of SAG. She was at the little fundraiser and raised a bunch of money overnight for us.
Wow, cool.
I was like, man, so I moved from San Diego to LA to do this full time. And getting deeper into pill addiction. I was already struggling with alcohol, pain pills, and Adderall. And it just got worse when I moved to LA. Just not dealing with the trauma of the accident and trying to accomplish things. And my ego was getting served. It's like, I got a little scene in NCIS. I got a little scene in ER. And now I'm at a New Year's party with Kaylee Cuoco and let's see, who else? I've been licked in a cab by Andy Dick.
Licked in a cab by Andy.
Yeah, on New Year's 05.
Andy Dick doing something like that.
I left him in the hills. The cab. We were in this cab, and long story short is I ended up having the cab leave him up in the hills. I was like, "Get the heck out of here! I don't want to be with this guy.
Oh my
This guy's
goodness.
crazy." And he was like running after the cab, like, "Don't leave me up here!" And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
So what happens when you try to make out with me, dude? Like, I'm out. And the Me Too movement came
my
out. I was like, "Me
God.
too." Like, I've been.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
assaulted by Andy Dick.
You really were. Oh my God. Wow.
So I've been bowling at Phil Jackson's house, 10-time NBA champion, been bowling at his house.
I mean, how can that not go to your head?
Man, it's
especially
just-
when you hadn't been working to be an actor or anything. You were just like, yeah, sure, I'll help you.
Exactly. I didn't even do anything. I just showed up with no leg, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Here you go. Let's throw some stuff at them." And so my ego was getting built up, and I was like, "I have arrived." And so I was neighbors with Catherine McPhee from American Idol.
Yep.
She was at the hospital when my son was born.
Wow,
There's
cool.
3 people at the hospital: my brother, my mother-in-law, and Catherine McPhee was there. So she invited us my ex-wife and I, to House Bunny. She was in the movie House Bunny.
Love that movie.
Sandler produced it, and so we're in the theater at the premiere with Adam Sandler, and Bruce Willis's daughter was in it, and so
Isn't that Anna Faris?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
David Spade and all these people were there, and part of the movie was filmed at the Playboy Mansion, so they had the after party at the Playboy Mansion.
Wow.
So we got to go to the Playboy Mansion.
Of course you thought you were like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps going, doesn't it?
Dude, I got pictures. I got Bruce Willis and Ashton Kutcher and
Wow.
John Lovitz from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
and all these
wow.
people are there. David Spade, like I said, Tom Hanks' son. And so, yeah, it was.
I think I got
had
you beat on that
arrived.
one because I've met Tom Hanks.
Ooh,
But
I haven't met him.
That's the only person that I can really say that it's like that famous that I've met. Go
So
on.
yeah, I've been backstage at the ESPYs. I was backstage at the ESPYs in 05, and I met The Rock and Peyton Manning, and I had a 15-minute conversation in the Crown Royal Lounge backstage with Penny
Nice.
Marshall. And
Wow.
golly, the list just goes on and on. Anyway, Oprah was presented the award for the people I was there with, and got
I
to meet
don't think
Oprah.
it gets any
and-
famouser than that.
Yeah, no, she's presidential, dude. When she comes in, like they bring her in. They brought her in at the last second. She doesn't do a lot of talking. She doesn't do a lot of handshaking. They brought her in, and as soon as she was off stage, we a couple photos, and she was gone. I mean, she got people with the earphones in. Okay, yeah, and they
That makes so
have her
much
on a
sense.
schedule. They bring her in, they get her out. She, at
It's
least for
Oprah.
that event. Yeah,
I mean, like,
it was
it's
presidential.
Oprah.
Yeah.
Like, she's basically the president. That makes sense.
And then LeBron let me cut in front of the buffet line for the after party because he knew I was with the Oprah people.
Oh, that's
and so he was
cool.
like, "Oh, dude, here you go ahead." And I was like, "Dude,
Oh,
like,
that's
I'm-
funny
like, I'm
because I've
nobody."
actually heard that LeBron is like not the nicest guy. I don't like it's just been on like the internet before
Really?
where they're like
Yeah, he-
he doesn't do autographs with kids and he's like kind of rude or something and so
Maybe
he
his
lets you
ego's
cut
gotten
line.
bigger. Maybe his ego's gotten bigger over the years. This was again.
Maybe.
This was a while back when he was younger, but he was friendly. Let me
That's
cut.
awesome.
So anyway, all these things were happening, and I thought I had arrived in life. I was like, man, I'm getting blown up on Hollywood sets. I'm with the biggest A-listers in the world. Adam Sandler, like heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks later, I got a call that my brother didn't show up for work, and he was my best friend, my only sibling. He struggled with addiction, and we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about it as a family. It was just kind of push it down. He's smart. He got his MBA from Georgetown, graduated top of his class at University of Texas Business School, and we didn't encourage him to get the help that he needed. And so he didn't show up for work one day. His girlfriend called me on a Monday about 5:30 and was like, "Hey, have you talked to Matt?" And I said, "No, I just got back in from Vegas from a work thing that morning or Sunday night." And I said, "No, I haven't talked to him since I got back in town." She's like, "Well, yeah, his boss called, said he didn't show up." I was like, "Huh." So I drive over to his house. He lived 8 miles over the hill in Beverly Hills and rented a room in this house and walked up to his bedroom door and it was locked. His car was there. And I called his phone, and I could hear it on the other side of the door, and no answer. And so I was like, man, what do you do? And I knew he had addiction issues. I knew something could have gone awry. And so I just said, all right, Lord, whatever this is, help me out. And I took my prosthetic leg, this one traumatic event that I had, and I kicked in his bedroom door, and the wood just splinters from the door into the bedroom, and found him dead. He had been dead for 3 days.
Oh my God.
From an overdose.
You found him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I cannot imagine what that did with you and what you had to process after that.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
I cannot imagine.
And it was all because now looking back on it, it's all because we didn't encourage him to get the help that he needed. It's like,
do you
dude,
feel a lot of guilt around that?
I don't know, because we didn't know. I mean, I didn't know at the time.
Yeah,
it's just like it was what I grew up with. It's just don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Like push it down. Nobody needs to know. And now looking back, it's like, man, people struggling with addiction issues are not bad morally. They're just people who are sick and they need help.
And it's a lot of people out there.
Yes.
It does not mean anything about you as a person or your character. It can be one mistake that you make one time. That addiction is a very real thing.
Yeah, and not even to physical substances, but if it's Netflix, if it's social media, if it's pornography, if it's
exercise.
Yeah, exercise can be an addiction,
There's all
right?
kinds
It's
of
like
addictions.
I wake up every day with this hole in my soul, and am I going to fill it with balanced things that are going to support me long term, or am I going to try to just continue to quick fix and cover up what's really going on in my life? And so my brother was just a kind of a fart, man. And so that's why I ended up coming out years later going, I need help. And
How old was he?
So he was 33. Yeah.
I'm so
yeah. His name was
sorry.
Matt. And
Yeah.
love you, dude.
Yeah, Matt.
I know he's here with me and proud of me today. But so that wheels didn't come off immediately. I had to call my parents. I imagine this phone call where you got to call your parents and say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, Matt's dead."
Oh my God.
And then have your parents fly out, and you're throwing everything away from his stuff, and his a whole life is brought down to like kind of one car full of stuff, and everything else is in the trash. Like we don't, what are we gonna do with this? So I saw how fast life can go. I didn't really click with my car accident. I thought I was invincible still, but my brother was just like, dang, man, it goes fast. And so we moved here to Nashville 15 years ago to get away from all that. And I'd love to say that I came here and I learned from my brother's mistakes and got better really fast, and that didn't happen. I moved here, got in with Dave Ramsey. Anybody know who Dave Ramsey is?
Oh, yeah.
So it took 7 interviews to get in with Dave Ramsey over the course of 4.5 months, spousal interview. I mean, all these hoops to jump through to get in there. I got in, had everybody fooled, and was literally drinking vodka at my desk while popping pills and calling churches on behalf of Dave Ramsey.
Wow.
And that's where my addiction took me. And I got called into his office one day with HR and my boss and my boss's boss and Dave Ramsey. You're sitting around this round table in his office, and it's like, oh, this isn't good. this isn't going to end well. And he sat me down and he said, look, it looks like you have some problems. Looks like you have some issues. And he said, I can't help you with those, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you I'm going to let you go so that you can go get the help that you need. And it was like, dude, I wasn't listening to my ex-wife. I wasn't listening to my in-laws and people who were expressing concerns about me. I was just, I got this. I'm okay.
Do you think it stems back to that one comment, or is it more than just the one comment, but that one comment that your friend made about like, John's got this.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to go through this, it's John.
Yeah. It's like, I never saw my dad reaching out for help. My dad didn't go to support groups. I didn't grow up.
That really is a big, like, I think message for men in general.
Yes.
I think men feel that way a lot of the time, especially when you are married and have a family and have children and you are the provider. This day and age, women are providers too, and I think men, it's still very much so not talked about when you have problems. And you said, like, we just didn't talk about it. Like, do you have any sisters?
No.
Okay, so you were boys,
Yep.
and like you just didn't talk about it. I come from a family where I have a sister and I had a brother, and my sister and I talk about these things. And I'm not saying like we did any better, like we have our stuff too, but I think just in general, like that ability to talk about those things and like address it is like so like such a like hard thing for men because of the world we live in. Until you go through something or enough stuff
Where you have to. It's like, and encourage the listeners out there, if you feel like you're struggling and you're in deep in life and in your job and in your family, like don't wait till it all comes crashing down to ask for help. Like just ask for help today. And whether it's from somebody from church or somebody from your job or a
That's why
trusted
I
family
really
member. But
celebrate recovery, because like it doesn't have to be like an obvious addiction. Like even like I mentioned exercise, because that's an addiction I've had. But then there's like, you know, the Adderall thing you mentioned. That's something I struggled with in high school and in college. And then I was prescribed it later, and then I took it, and then I got off of it. But there's all kinds of addictions that, or maybe it's not even an addiction, you know, but like what you said, like get
just
help.
overwhelmed. I'm just
you know,
overwhelmed.
and if you think that it's not a problem to other people and like I should be fine, I'm okay. Like there are places and people out there like Celebrate Recovery who they're not judging the size of your problem as like, oh, you're qualified and we'll help you. You know, like that's not how it works. You know, like you might think that I struggle with that sometimes. Like I'm an emotional person and I'm like, you know, I'm upset about something and I'm like, you know, this is just a me thing probably. But then I'm like, no, this is a problem for you. It might not be a problem for everybody, but it's something you can address. You know, you just need to talk to the right people, you know? So, yeah.
Hey Nashville, want to keep your brows looking sharp without spending a dime? At Waxing the City Brentwood, we've got you covered with Free Brow Wednesdays. Yes, you heard that right. Every Wednesday, you can get a free brow wax. No catch, no cost. Whether you're prepping for the gym, gearing up for a business meeting, or just looking to feel your best, Free Brow Wednesday is the perfect way to treat yourself. And did we mention it's completely free? That's right, free every single Wednesday. But don't wait, spots fill up fast, and you don't want to miss out. Book your Free Brow Wednesday now at Waxing the City in Brentwood. Find us on Instagram at Waxing the City Brentwood or give us a call at 615-914-2700.
Free brow offer for new clients only.
Anyways.
Yeah. So getting fired by Dave Ramsey was a wake up call. Ended up in 5 rehab centers in 7 years.
Wow.
3 sober living houses. Golly, I just wouldn't get it. I would try to get better for everybody else. Every time it was like, let me get better to save the marriage. Let me get better to keep the kids. Let me get better to save the job. It was just, there was always some external thing as opposed to truly coming from me. It was like, let me try to, you know, control the outside circumstances as best I can by doing what I think everybody wants me to do, as opposed to what I truly needed to do for myself. And so I would get better on the surface for a little while, and I wasn't doing the real deep internal work that I needed in my recovery. So, but I ended up for a couple of years, I was sober for a couple of years, worked for a group of addiction treatment centers, hosted a podcast on addiction. I interviewed 3 of the members of the band Korn. Aspen was on here recently. I interviewed Aspen about her story of growing up with addiction in her family, and Aspen Luzier, if you know her. So anyway, guy from 3 Doors Down, had all these people on and doing great work, traveling the country, sharing my story at colleges and universities and fraternities and sororities. And man, the job, they laid a bunch of people off. I lost my job. I started drinking again because I was using my work as my recovery, and I wasn't working my recovery. There's a difference.
Wow,
I was working
that's
in
a
the
big one.
I was working in the recovery field, but I wasn't doing my recovery work. So when the recovery field went away, I didn't have a firm foundation, and so I was like trying to grasp, and then I grasped for the bottle again.
It makes you wonder how many people are out there like in recovery or in, you know, fitness, for example, you know, who are like struggling with the addiction of their own work, you know, then they use work to be like, it's justified.
I'm making more money. I'm providing for the family. I'm doing everything on the outside. Everything looks good on paper. I'm stashing a lot of money away. Got investments, got an investment property, got an Airbnb. You got all this stuff, but are like, what's the motivation behind it? Are you doing it because you're insecure about yourself? Are you doing it, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dropping some
Mic
knowledge
drop.
bombs. Yeah.
Boom.
I read a quote like yesterday that said some people compete out of ambition and a lot more people compete out of fear.
Yes.
That hit me so hard when I read it because, you know, you feel it from some people.
Yep.
You just can tell, you know, and then it makes you check yourself. That's mostly what it did. Is like, am I competing? Like, first of all, who am I competing with ever? Is it, and why? You know, because competition's great, it's healthy, but the competition with yourself and what you are trying to accomplish in life is more important than, you know, and I feel other people compete with me, you know, I'm like, that I wasn't competing with. And I'm like, it's because I might have something that they want, you know, and I have to realize that. And then I have to check myself with like, okay, out in the world, you know, like, are you doing this out of ambition or out of like passion and purpose? Or are you doing this out of fear? You know, what are you doing this for? And you had
What's the
mentioned-
intent? Like, what's the intent of what you're doing and why? You know, the why is a huge part
And
of it. Yeah.
wanting to like save your marriage is important, but if that's the sole driver, you know, or like, you know, keeping the family together, or my family just doesn't want to see me not okay, so I need to get better for them. You know, it's like all those things do matter. But at the end of the day, if you're not truly like, if that isn't there, you wanting to do it for yourself just to be healthier and know that like, okay, I might have to unlearn some things in order to be a better version of myself. It's hard. It's hard work to face your own self, you know, like we talked about earlier. But like, that's why it's like, I'm in strength training. That is true strength, is to be able to like do the inner work.
I justified playing video games because I was making money, but then I went through a divorce because I was playing too much video games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I ended up losing. I lost it all. So I lost the job after relapsing again, after working for the addiction treatment centers and traveling the country doing public speaking. And I reached over 6 million people. It just went on and on. The media opportunities I was getting, sharing my story, but it all went away because I lost my house, my wife, my kids, and my job, and then COVID hit. So
That is some timing right there.
here's I'll show
Poor
you guys since you're right here with me. This was me 3.5 years ago. I didn't know if I could keep going. This was 3.5 years ago.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God.
know if
We
you-
need to, yeah. Can I see this?
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't even look like you.
I know. Did you see it?
Yeah, that's
All right,
crazy.
I'm going to show
That's the
Jordan's camera if you can see it.
worst depression I'd ever been in.
We'll try and put this on the, can you see that? Yeah, we got it. All right. So even if you can't directly see it and if it's a little blurry, like John is clearly a different person.
I put on 55 pounds. I was miserable,
It doesn't even
and
look like you. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
it wasn't because my spirit was completely crushed, and I had to be drug tested every week for 3 years. Got my kids taken away, supervised visits. I couldn't drive them for a period of time. Even when I saw them without a supervisor, I couldn't drive them for a period of months. And then I had to work my way up, and I ended up having a relapse with my children, and it did not go over very well. And that's when I went to Celebrate Recovery.
Those are the instances that people will judge and be like, write you off. When we were talking about addiction, it's like you are a very pure-hearted person, and people make mistakes all the time who are good people. And that's one of those situations where, on the outside looking in, somebody would be like, oh, what a terrible guy.
Why didn't you just stop?
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. Like, you need to quit. It's like yeah. Go on.
Yeah, just stop. You're ruining your family. You already ruined your family. Now you're ruining it more, and but it was just, again, that hole in my soul every day, and I wasn't waking up filling it with the things that I should have. And I knew what to do, and so I called a friend. And he's a member of SEAL Team 6. Mm-hmm. He was there when they took down bin Laden.
Wow.
The Navy SEAL veteran of 20 years.
Oh,
I called him over to my house.
Down on you.
Right, he's dealt with his stuff.
Yeah.
And I call him over, and I was like, dude, I need help, man. I was like, I'm not doing too well. And he's like, yeah, you don't look too good. He said, why don't you get a piece of paper and let's just do 2 things today. He said, what are 2 things you can do today? I was like, dude, I don't know, man. I just my head's not here. I'm not even present anymore. And he said, why don't you start with a shower? I've been through 5 rehab centers, a party at the Playboy Mansion, done all this stuff. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I invented a sock that manages sweat inside prosthetics.
Oh, sick.
It just helped win a gold medal in Paris. Hunter Woodhall is a double amputee, won gold medal in the 400 meter. He wears the sock that I invented.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We can maybe come back to that in a minute. So I've done all these grand things, and here I am just like, can you take a shower?
Yeah.
And sometimes you might, there may be somebody out there listening right now that's just like, you got to try to get out of bed in the morning just to take a shower, and it's a struggle for you because you're just completely overwhelmed. And I've been there, man. I've been there. But I reached out for help. I made a phone call and told a friend to dude, I can't even take a shower. Can you come help me? Sometimes that's where we got to start, is admit that that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm at rock bottom.
It takes strength to admit that.
Yeah.
And admit that you are there.
Yeah.
And start there.
So thankfully I was able to, he just got me started, and I started with the shower. And here we are 3.5 years later, and I've lost, 50 some odd pounds, and healthier mentally, spiritually, physically, more than I've ever been in my life.
So it was the relapsing with your kids that like was like I need to.
It was,
like,
I saw, so my
definitely
ex-wife
change
was always able to buffer. She was always able, like if I relapsed, if I drank in the house or something or around the kids, she was always able to provide a buffer for the kids. And this time she wasn't there and she couldn't do that. And this was the first time I had, relapsed in front of the children without, an adult, without somebody to save them.
Yeah.
And I saw the look in my son's eye when he said, Dad, Mom's coming to pick us up. And I said, why? He said, because I smell alcohol in your breath.
Oh.
He was 12. My oldest was 12, and I'm his hero. Yeah. And he looks up at me, those little eyes, and he's like, Mom's going to pick us up because you're drinking. And I was like, So to see how it broke him, he turned away from me. He cut me off for a while. He didn't, I'm sitting there on a Saturday, or Sunday. Hey, man, you watching the Titans game? He loves the Titans. I'm taking him to Titans games every year. And I said, hey, man, you watching the Titans game? No response. I was waiting for those 3 little dots to pop up of him responding back to me, and he didn't. Hey, man, how are your brother and sister doing today? No response. And so it was like seeing my kids affected by it directly. I was like, all right, this is next level. Like, I'm going to lose them forever. I'm going to lose me forever. I'm going to lose me forever if I let this continue to affect me.
Okay, I was just about to ask.
It wasn't even the kids. It was me. It was my own spirit. Like I'm about to,
That's love. That's what the power of love does. Because I was just about to ask, like, okay, so seeing your son look at you and say that, but like, at what point did it become about like, I am needing to do this for me? It was in the same moment because of the power of that love. Like your son looked at you that way and told you that.
I saw myself through his eyes, and I saw what he was looking at. I could see him looking at a failure. I could see him looking at a guy that's not willing to step up and be a man and deal with his problems. And so I'm going to let it continue to affect my kids. He's like, come on, Dad, you're better than that. I'm better than, I'm 12 and I know better, And so I just saw my broken self through his eyes, and
there it was.
It was like, okay, I got to do this for me.
Yeah, and you did.
Yeah.
And your son, I imagine, is talking to you again. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Exactly.
How old is he now?
So we do in January. I got to take him on a tour of Duke. He's really smart. 3 weeks ago, we went out to Boston for fall break. I take my 3 kids out to Boston for fall break, and we got to tour Harvard. And
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They sound smart. Duke and Harvard. Those are not easy.
They're healthy kids. They're blessed. And I want to shout out to their mom. They have a great mother that I could not do this without. I mean, I only have them about a third of the time. So the 70% of the time she is an amazing mom to them. And I'm very grateful for her.
And she's no longer a buffer.
Yeah, exactly.
She can be a mom. You can be a dad. And that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, it took a lot of strength because the key things for me in everything that you're saying is you had to like get real with yourself, and like it something that took like the crash and burn, like, literally you had a crash and then like later on you waited until things got really bad to ask for help, which is a lot of people, so it's like, that's why it's so important. Like mental health needs to be talked about and things like that, because like you didn't always, maybe at first, like maybe, after finally seeing your son say something to you, but like, I feel like you had learned from, maybe you didn't immediately after your brother go and like change and become, I'm going to learn from that. But you did. It just takes a minute. You have to get to know yourself and you have to kind of do the work, and ask for help. And that's all strength, that's all the real strength, because like if you're not being strong enough and you are going to be that man forever who's like, like I'm not able to take care of myself and my kids, like those are the people not asking for help, like, and it's hard when you're struggling with an addiction, already that's hard. So then asking for help on top of that, that's hard. Like
they don't want to tell you most of the time either.
Well, here's the thing is the addiction is the solution. So I'm going to say that again. The addiction for me, the alcohol and the pills was the solution. My internal angst was the problem.
Okay.
right? That's the problem. The internal spiritual, emotional, mental turmoil that I was living in. That's the problem. And the alcohol and the drugs just numb that. And so you want me to, you want to take my solution away? It's like you want to take a blankie or a pacifier away from a baby. That's the solution to help keep them pacified, help calm them.
Yeah.
Like I'm calm.
Great metaphor.
I can breathe when I have substances in my body, you know, okay, I can deal with life for just a little bit.
Yeah.
Until the next fix. And so it wasn't until I started to fix the internal angst. But you have to remove the problem to get to the internal angst.
Yeah, because the only reason you have that addiction is because of that stewing around in there that you're not addressing. And it's like, yeah, that makes total sense. And that you've said it multiple times, and I'm not going to forget it too, because it really resonates with me. I have a hole in my soul, and everybody has that. And it's not negative. It's not dark. It's not like, oh my God, you're like emo now, you know, it's everyone has that. Like there's a hole in you. Something happened to you at some point in your life. You know, it doesn't maybe look like a car crash and losing your leg. It doesn't always look like losing a loved one to overdose, but it's something.
Yeah, it could be the investment that didn't work out, the job that didn't work out, you tried to start a business and it failed, and or the relationship failed that you thought was going to last forever, but that can be a catalyst for the relationship you're supposed to be in.
Exactly. Like I noticed that, we'll take that as an example, a pattern in my relationships. And then I realized like, oh, this is a pattern. That means it's me. I need to fix the pattern, and like, so I do work on me on that, and it's like, so that the next relationship is not the same pattern, because we know what happens with the pattern, Sav. It repeats itself and it's not right. It's the wrong pattern. So really, if you know yourself better, you're able to coexist better with people and kind of understand they're on their own journey. And if they don't want to face their shit, that's their problem, and it's like, I could go on and on about this stuff because I think it's so important. But it is so hard, and that's why it takes strength, and if you reframe it from going, I don't need help, I'm, I got this, yeah, I'm the guy that can handle it, I got this. If you reframe it and go like, actually, the strong thing to do right now is the thing I don't want to do, which is ask for help or, or, face my problems, face my trauma, face my childhood. If you reframe that as the hard thing, the real hard thing, like, that's what makes you feel invisible. Everything you felt in Hollywood, you're like, yeah,
So
I got
fake.
it going on. But right now, talking to you and the energy that you're putting out and like the way that you speak about it, you can tell that you probably, if I
you almost made me
rewind,
cry. I was
dude,
over here tearing up.
This is so powerful, but it's not just in the story; it's in the way you're telling it.
Yeah.
And in the person that you are. Energy is a real thing. I'm a big energy person, but we could probably rewind back to when you were in Hollywood, like hot shot, getting all these gigs, like you had it going on, and a lot of people have that, like in a similar way, maybe different, but literal stars. And then like some people are like, I'm making all the money in the world. Like you said, on paper, it looks all good. But I bet if we went back to that time, you might look that way, but the energy you gave off
God,
probably would not be
I could
nearly as powerful as the energy you're giving off now.
Oh gosh, no! I was so terrified. I mean, if you just look at my eyes and my headshots, even like because I have these old headshots I had taken, and if you just, there was just a hollowness in my eyes that I can see, that I would just I hated myself back then.
That's a huge thing to think about. Is like there's a lot of successful people out
guys,
there.
I had a condo in LA, a condo in San Diego, 3 acres in San Diego County, 7 pieces of property in Texas that were being developed as part of a golf course, and I was in LA doing the thing, and I was more miserable than I'd ever been in my entire life.
Boom.
That stuff did not fill the void.
You were using all of those things to try, and a lot of people do, and a lot of people have those things, and I'm sure they're happy, but
Not for me. Now I rent a townhouse. I don't own anything. I own no properties, and I've never been happier.
wow.
Keep it simple.
Wow.
I got a cat.
All right.
I have a Savanna cat it's like a wild, looks like a
Sick.
little mini cheetah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
those
and he uses the
those
toilet.
are expensive.
He's using the toilet. Yeah,
That's
he's toilet
awesome.
trained.
What?
So I got a toilet trained cat in a townhouse that I rent, and I'm pretty happy.
If you just
Heck
have that kind of cat, you basically can fool a lot of people into thinking you're a celebrity.
So David Spade has a real serval cat, Savanna cat is a cross between a wild African serval and
Yeah.
a domestic house cat, and so he has a wild African
course he
serval.
does.
And
Of course
I was
he
like,
does.
I'm on close to a level. I've met David Spade twice when I was out there, and so
Is he a really nice guy?
yeah,
Joe
he's just
Dirt?
real chill. Yeah, he's real chill. He's real laid back.
Oh
Such a
man,
good
I
one.
mean, like, there's so many things he's in. But
So today I'm grateful to be able to, again, just came back from a triathlon, supporting the Challenged Athletes Foundation, helping raise money for people with disabilities, and do life coaching and motivational speaking. And I'm grateful to be sober today. When I leave here, I'm literally driving to my sponsor's house to go meet with my sponsor. I haven't talked to him face to face in several weeks. So, daily I have to do work. And I made a call from the parking lot out here. When I got here early, I called one of my accountability guys. So I have like 3 or 4 accountability guys around me that I call and keep updated with my life. And there's some things going on in the peripherals that are challenging, and I don't go through it alone. When I got here, I called and left him a voicemail. Hey man, I'm looking to connect with you the next few days. Got some stuff I want to update you on. Sat in my car, said a prayer before I came in here. Said a prayer before we started this thing, and that's what keeps me going. Is the strength of God in me that gives me the ability to do what I'm able to do today. And I'm going to leave here and go meet with my sponsor. And so it's a constant daily work for me to maintain sobriety, and it didn't.
you take the moments in the day
Yeah.
that you need.
Exactly. So, now I know how to check in with myself. If I could feel my central nervous system, because I've been through so many therapies, and I've been brain mapping, and I've met with gurus in Bali, y'all. I've flown to Bali and laid in huts they're called Pac-Men. They're called a Pac-Man. I've laid with 3 different Pac-Men in Bali, and 2 of them told me, I didn't tell them anything about me. They could just read from my energy. They said, alcohol will kill you.
Wow.
I didn't even tell them anything about me. So anyway, I've done all kinds of weird therapies and things, and it's all come back to I need to get back into a Christ-centered 12-step group, and
Yeah.
Celebrate Recovery's been a lifesaver for me. So
That's incredible.
can I tell you about the sock real quick?
Yes. Hang on. Before
Yeah.
you get into the sock, I think we need to take a quick break for our sponsors. So we're going to hop into, I cannot wait to hear about this sock. So we're going to take a quick break while we get the sock ready, and we will be right back.
Vita Fitness, located in the heart of Germantown, your neighborhood spot for personal training, small group fitness, and 24 access to everything you need in a gym. First class is free. Come by today for a free consultation to find out more.
All right, guys, we are back. It's sock time. So John had previously told us that he invented a sock. This is patented, yes?
Yes. So my name's on the patent. I get no money for it. Long
Really?
story.
Why not?
I get nothing for it. Didn't get anything in writing up front. Lesson learned.
Are you kidding me?
Get things in writing up front. They can come back to bite you. So
I'm glad you're happy with the townhouse and everything, because that's probably a huge payday. The guy wore it and got a gold medal.
Prosthetics over 3,000 years in development since the first Egyptian toe, and nobody's figured out sweat. How do you manage sweat inside of a prosthetic? So this is like wearing a condom all day long. This liner, these are $500 a piece.
A leg
It lasts
condom.
about 6 months. And over the years, sweat I just learned sweat builds up, and you have to take your leg off to literally dump sweat out when you're on the elliptical or on a run or on a bike ride. Literally all these amputees around the world, the sweat just pools up, and we all just deal with it for 3,000 years. And my mom always says, she was like, somebody's got to come out with something. Somebody's got to come out with something. I didn't know it was going to be me. I had no idea that I was going to change the trajectory of all these amputees' lives around the world. But I took a foot sock made by a local athletic sock company here in the Nashville area, and I put it on my limb one day, put it on my amputated limb, and it was a game changer. I put the heel where my
sock
knee
was
goes. It's a Swiftwick.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to actually guess Swiftwick.
So it's Swiftwick sock, and I took one of their foot socks, put it on my stump one day. Game changer.
Wow.
So I went to them. Took about 6 months to convince them that, hey, I know all these challenge athletes. I know these athletes with disabilities that are competing on a high level from my work at the Challenge Athletes Foundation. I have testers. We can put them on, and we can get media and stuff around it. So sure enough, it was yes, let's do this. I convinced them to bring me on board. Within 13 months, I had worldwide distribution on the greatest sock ever created for managing sweat inside prosthetics.
Wow.
24 hours. Huh?
Insane.
Yeah.
That's
24 hours after putting our first video on YouTube, the number one prosthetic guy for the largest prosthetic company in the world called my cell phone.
Wow.
His name is Kevin Carroll. I just saw him 2 days ago in San Diego. Hadn't seen him in like 12 years since this. project started, and I said, "Hey, the guy that did the sock," he goes, "Dude, we're still selling those in all of our facilities around the world." And he invented the tail for the dolphin. There's a movie called Dolphin Tail.
Yes, I know exactly. What
He
you're
invented
talking about.
when he called me up about the sock, that first 24 hours of us putting our video up online, he called me and said, "This is Kevin Carroll." And I was like, whoa, Morgan Freeman played him in the film. Like he's played by
Wow.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Yeah, I know who you are." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I figured out a tail for a dolphin and we can't figure out sweat. And you did.
That's I mean, like,
So
I could die after that.
So we got this sock on the market, and Hunter Woodhall, it was his
so
his
sick.
wife just won a gold medal in, I think it was long jump as an able-bodied Olympics, and then in the Paralympics he just won a gold medal in the 400 meter and double amputee. As soon as he's crossing the finish line, you go pull it up right now. Crossing the finish line, gold medal. He's wearing the sock.
Oh my God.
The 400 meter gold medal winner 3 years ago in Tokyo from Germany wore the sock. It's won the
why
last
can't
two gold
you put
medals.
Your name on it. Everybody knows you did it.
No, it's
Even the
here's
prosthetic guy.
Here's the thing: is my ego doesn't need it.
I know.
Like even right now, my ego is kind of like, look what I did. But really, like, I just showed up. I just took a technology and found a new
As
application.
somebody who's
Ton
been
of people.
talking to you for an hour, I'm like, you should have it.
Yeah.
No, but see, I shouldn't, because you know what? There are people benefiting around the world from my work, and
Hey.
I don't have to have credit for it.
Helping a lot of
You
people.
deserve.
I don't need credit
You
for it.
deserve so much for just saying that. And I know you don't.
It's like you just do the right thing for the right reason,
Yep.
and everything will work out. My bills are
Yep.
paid, right?
Kinda
Now, if
reminds
I
me
was
of,
on the street, if I was, living off, government subsidies, I'd be more mad. But and here's the thing: is I had to work on that in my 12-step work. I had to let that resentment go against somebody wronged me, and you took money out of my pocket. You're taking, college education for my kids, and I had to work through that, because guess what? I drank after that. I went back to rehab after I got screwed.
And you probably blamed them a
Yep,
lot,
yep,
whether
I said,
publicly
yep.
or not. Like when you are internally blaming other people, even if they've totally wronged you and they are absolutely wrong. Sometimes it's like you justify it by just blaming it on someone else, but like sometimes people really actually wrong you and unfair things happen. But the work is still to let that go.
And I had to look and go, what was my part in it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, they wronged me, but what was my part? I had some kind of part. My part was I didn't get anything in writing up front. Someone told me you should get this in writing up front. No, we're helping people with disabilities. Everything's going to work out. All right, I learned a lesson. That was my part. I learned a really big lesson. All right,
And you can
I'm never
accept
gonna.
that.
Yeah.
That,
But
like,
it
hey,
took
lesson
years.
learned.
It took years to,
Sure. But I
to-
mean, that's why I'm saying like the work is the hardest thing to do. That's the strength. It's like, because I've had to do this similar work, nothing on a grand scale of like someone, I needed to get writing for this huge revolutionary invention that I invented. I'd probably be honestly pretty heated about that. But like, I've had to do that work where it's like, someone has done me wrong, and like, why? And for me, it was like why? What did I do to you? Why would you do that? And that's what I had to work through, is like, why would you do this? But you keep focusing on that. That's all you're focused on. And then it's always about the other person and what they did, and it's like, at the end of the day, like the real work is like, okay, what did I have control over in that?
How can I grow?
I'm a person too. I was involved too. So what can I take from this that's actually going to benefit me, help me grow, and not, stoop me down to the level of that action or whatever happened, because I don't want to be like that, but I'm not going to sit there and just be like, well, now I hate that person and I hope that they have bad karma. It's like, okay, let the universe take care of that. Let God take care of that. Like you focus on you, it's hard as hell to do that.
It's like, take care of your side of the street is what we say in recovery. It's like, all I gotta do, if I take care of my side of the street, let everything else going to happen. And I can't control that, but I can control me and how I react to things.
Yeah.
So
That's, yeah.
take care of your side of the street today. And that means reaching out for help. Reach out for help.
Yes. Yeah. You have to, everyone has an ego. It's there for a reason. It's protecting you. But sometimes it's like from being triggered and trauma that's unresolved, like sometimes it's jumping out to be like, and it's like, wait a minute, like it's okay to ask for help. Like your ego will say like, don't ask for help. You got this, or screw that guy for screwing you. It's like, whoa, like, and it's our ego trying to protect us, but you have to like really dig deep and understand like, why is my ego trying to protect me right now? Am I triggered by something I haven't worked through? Or is this something real that I do need to like, listen to you have to learn how to learn about your ego. What is it? What is
Learn
it
to
trying
listen.
to
A
tell
free
me?
therapy session today, and I love it.
I mean, we're sitting here with a life coach,
This is great. I needed this. You know that.
I mean, we could even get so into, I really want to have you back on to get into like the science and of the prosthetic stuff and like how it's affected you physically and how it's affected your training and workout stuff.
Yeah, it affects relationships. When your leg fits great, life is going great, everything's cool. When the leg doesn't fit great, it's like crud. Now this sucks. There's days or weeks or months where the leg doesn't fit right, and it affects my mood. It affects my motivation to want to get out of bed, and so yeah, there's a
And
whole
I would
another
love to know more about like the ingrown hair situation. Why did it cause almost you having to amputate above the knee? Like all of that stuff I'm so curious about, but unfortunately we do have to start wrapping it up.
Absolutely.
Like this is so fascinating to me. You have such an incredible story, and the way you've come out of it is like, I could just sit and let me buy you a coffee sometime. I say that a lot with guests because I could always continue the conversation, but I feel really lucky to like get to hear people's stories because it helps me. It's inspiring to me, and that's exactly what we hope for our listeners.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I appreciate you telling us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
really.
for connecting with me today, and this helps me stay sober.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're actually helping me more than you know. So it's just,
and vice versa.
so, but
that's a
it
beautiful
comes from
thing.
conversation. It comes with talking real stuff with real people. It's not social media,
Exactly.
and it's not chiming into your buddy's vacation or what so and so is wearing today. It's like real conversation with real people.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis.
Yes.
Is how we
Wholeheartedly
get through this
agree.
life.
It makes me think about friends in my life. You said you have accountability people. It makes me think about, I didn't even think of them as accountability buddies, but like that's totally what I have like people I know who are friends, acquaintances, work friends, whatever. And then like you have your people, like those accountability friends. That's what they are for me.
So here I'll make one. I know we're wrapping up, but make one analogy. In LA, people want, the big actors want a publicist, a manager, an agent, a nutritionist, a trainer. You have this team of people around you to help you meet your goals, to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And I've taken that model of like, that's what I wanted in LA is I wanted a team of people to help me get bigger and cool. But I use that same model today from people from my church, from men who have just been through crap. And I sit on Monday nights, I'm in a men's group. We sit in a smaller than this room here. We sit in a little library at the church in a dark room, me and 3 other guys, and we talk about our crap on Monday nights in a men's group in a church library where there's no lights, there's no social media, there's no microphones, and that's where the real work gets done, is like in the dark when nobody's watching.
Yep.
And in LA, that's I wanted that team of people to help me get from where I was to where I wanted to be, and I have that same accountability. I have that support group around me today, and it just looks different. They're not managers and agents and blah blah blah. They're just real normal people.
Oh yeah, it's a network of support.
Yep.
Exactly like you said. Like we all have support groups. What does yours look like? What do yours look like? Because I say the same thing about like my clients when they're like, "Can you write me a meal plan? Can you be like everything for me?" And I'm like, "No, I can't, but I can build you a network because I know people, and if you trust me with all the things, I would try, but at the end of the day, I'm one person. So
smart.
let's get you a network of professionals. Don't you want that? You don't want one person who does everything. Like I can offer a lot, but let's get you make sure you have a primary care doctor.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you have a therapist or a counselor, someone you can talk to about like other things outside of the gym. Let's make sure you have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, like you should have all those things. And that goes for like anyone in life. Maybe not, that's a fitness network. You have a church network. You have your support system around alcohol and addiction. Jordan probably has his support system around like in his gaming. He probably has
absolutely.
a gaming support
My closest
system.
friends don't even live here.
And you have like people like us here who are a fitness support system, and it's like having all those things. And then like maybe you're a barista at a coffee shop, unrelated to all of us. And that person needs, I think a network of people, like a therapist. Maybe you don't have parents. Maybe you didn't have the privilege of having a mom or a dad or siblings. Okay. Like
What kind of father or mother figure could you find to replace that person?
Yeah. And it's like, and it should be considered at least to like who are you surrounding yourself by? And I know we say that a lot, you know, like you are the 5 people, but that's so true, you know? And it's like when I meet people that are you know, they're so successful and rich in the things I want to be rich in, and it's not money. You know, more than half of the people that I aspire to be like or who influence me a lot are like, you know, some of them have money, some of them don't have a lot of money. It's who they are, you know, and they do the same thing. They're like, I want to surround myself with people like this and people like this. And it's like, they're looking to grow, you know, always. And like, it's just, you know, that's such an important thing. And a lot of people try and do things alone. And it's like, I get it, but you don't have to do that. And it also, it takes so much strength to ask for help. Don't you want to be strong? You know, like that's what I say. But I'm in strength training. I always put it back into strength terms, you know, because people think strength is all like, you know, it's like, yeah, sometimes like be, you know, but like also like
you could be the weakest, strongest person in the gym.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
you know, you could be the weakest, strongest person in the gym.
Yeah.
You may look the biggest, you may lift the heaviest, but you could be
You could have accolades for days.
biggest baby emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you know, in the gym, but you cover it up
Usually
with the
people who
outside
say,
facade.
I don't cry, but I'm like, oh,
Yeah, you got
you
problems.
cry. You just don't say you cry. You probably cry a lot. Anyways, all right, we got to get into stretch your intellect. So do we have one?
Yes, they put new ones.
Oh, mine is all watered down. I my drink down on it. I don't think John has one. Oh, you got it? Okay. Okay. Crisis averted. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first since I went last
All
time.
right. All right. Let's go.
Take it for the team. Natural diuretic is our title. Pumpkins have diuretic properties, which can help reduce water retention and bloating.
Good thing we're all pro
Here we are in
pumpkin spice.
October. yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, these are just fun facts. I forgot to tell you.
I got
You
a fun
probably already
fact
know,
for
but-
you.
What's up?
All right. High in vitamin A, just 1 cup of pumpkin provides over 200% of recommended daily intake of vitamin A, which is essential for good vision, especially in dim light. The bright orange color comes from beta-carotene, which converts to vitamin A in the body.
Nice. That's what they say about carrots. Everyone thinks it's a myth, but it actually does help your vision.
Mom made me eat carrots every day.
Same.
Yeah.
I love
I
carrots.
have good vision already, so, you know.
Yeah, mine is it's okay.
All right, let's
I'm
read
supposed to
your
wear glasses to
soggy
see far
paper.
away, and I lost them and never went and got another pair. And I see fine,
Just
but
eat extra
like,
carrots.
you know, like I don't know. I should probably go to the eye doctor. Anyways, guess what this one's about? Can you take a wild guess?
Pumpkin.
No way. Contains B vitamins for energy. Pumpkins are a source of several B vitamins, including B2, B3, B6, and folate, which are essential for converting food into energy, promoting healthy brain function, and maintaining cell health. So, if you're going to judge white basic girls for loving, and us, obviously, I am white basic girl, but I can't speak for these gentlemen. But we love pumpkin.
I love pumpkin
We love
pies.
pumpkin
Amen.
spice. I know it's not the same, you know, but pumpkin is very good for you. It has a lot of essential nutrients and vitamins. So if you don't like pumpkin, I hope you're getting your carrots in at least. But yeah, that concludes Stretch Your Intellect. John, I wish we could talk all day and keep getting into this, but if you can leave our listeners with anything that you want to leave our listeners with today, what would that be?
I encourage you to challenge yourself today. Like, I know I am guilty of wanting the path of least resistance. In today's day and age, we are set up for the path of least resistance, like the easy way out, the medications as opposed to changing the diet, the pills as opposed to doing the workout, you know? So I encourage you today, if something resonated with you that you know you need help, don't just recognize that you need help. Challenge yourself by taking an action, by calling somebody. Maybe today's the day where you challenge yourself to look for the therapist. Do a Google search for the therapist today. Maybe you need a Christian therapist. Maybe you need a Jewish therapist, whatever. I don't care. But maybe today's the day you challenge yourself to take one small step action. Like I had to go back and I had to write down on a piece of paper, take a shower. Can you take a shower today, John? And I was able to do that and start over. So maybe today's the day somebody out there is listening. It's just like, I need to challenge myself today to get outside of my comfort zone, because that's when the growth is where life is lived, not in the comfort zone and tucking away into the darkness of your life, but get some light into the darkness and challenge yourself today. And it could just be a small thing like getting out of bed a little earlier or making a phone call.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is our episode today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am. And where can we find you?
Yeah, so johnmabrykconnects.com, John Mabry Connects on social media.
Okay.
Again, life coaching, motivational speaking. If you got a church or a school or college, university, or a kids group, we can talk to an elementary school group of kids. Absolutely. I love doing that. I got to share my biggest speech I've ever done was 2 weeks ago. I got to speak my daughter's 5th grade class at her school, and it was the biggest honor I've ever had.
I was going to say biggest as in as many people, or
No.
the biggest like fulfillment?
Biggest for
you?
my heart.
That's what
You
I
know,
was
she's rolling her eyes at, here's dad taking his leg off in front of all my friends, you know.
Oh, she's, oh my God. How old is she?
She's 10.
5th grade. Okay.
10,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when she's older, my dad is my hero, you know?
I love you, Sawyer. She told me at the speech, she's like, don't call me soybean. So, hi,
Actually, that's
soybean.
adorable.
Hi,
Oh
soybean.
my God, I love that.
You didn't say I couldn't say it here.
My dad had nicknames for me too. So Sawyer, your dad is super cool. He's the cool dad. Trust me. You don't have to be embarrassed of him. And when you get to be my age, you'll definitely. But girls are little girls. They love their daddies. They do. So.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's an
Yeah.
honor to be on
thank you
here.
so much,
Keep up the great
John.
work.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time on the NFM podcast.